Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
there will be
consequences? Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences.
Meanwhile, European leaders have stressed to Trump that Ukraine needs robust security guarantees to ensure that any deal reached holds. Joining us now for analysis is Stuart Livingstone-Wallace, Bloomberg's executive editor for the Middle East, North Africa and Russia. Morning, Stuart. Would Russia really agree to a ceasefire unless Ukraine hands over territory, which, of course, President Zelensky has ruled out?
Yeah, good morning, Lizzie. I mean, I think that is the key question. And I think the assumption is it's going to be very difficult for him to sell a deal that has no territory involved to his own government. Remember that he went into this basically saying it was an existential question for the future of Russia. And if he comes out of it with no territory gained, then it's going to be very difficult for him to justify both the cost in economic and in terms of, you know, obviously human life that they've had to go through in the last several years. You know, might there be some permutation around security guarantees, a guarantee that Ukraine is never going to be part of NATO, that he could sell as a victory, you know, conceivably, but it seems a little bit of a long shot.
And we had this Trump call with European leaders. Do I detect a disparity between the readouts from both sides in terms of, you know, what happens if Putin doesn't agree to a ceasefire tomorrow? Is there a sense that there's a different outcome in their minds, especially when it comes to a follow-up meeting with Trump, Putin and Zelensky?
No, I think you're right. There's definitely an element of that, although it's very hard to parse out quite what Trump's position is, because it does appear to have shifted a little bit in the last several days. You know, it started with the threat of sanctions, or much harder sanctions, you know, and then became, you know, somewhat softer. And now after this call with the EU leaders, again, you know, that clip you played at the beginning of the segment, you know, he's back to talking about severe consequences. So, I mean, I think really what we're going to have to do is wait and see what happens at this summit in Alaska, get the readout from that and see what Trump's position is. But in terms of the EU position, I think that has been pretty firm since day one in terms of what needs to happen, which is that no one should be making concessions on behalf of Ukraine, you know, and fundamentally you need some sort of security guarantee there that this isn't going to repeat itself, because that is Ukraine's big concern, that you cede territory and that just becomes a launching pad for the next offensive.